Hello, everybody. Brian Engelman here with the New American Media and the Unhappy Hour. The Cleveland Browns are drafting number one overall in the draft 2017. It's going to be held in Philadelphia instead of New York, instead of other places. By the way, for the record, I think it should be held in the place where the number one pick gets it from. So if your team is the worst, you should host the draft. Those are my thoughts, but let's just get right into it. I want to talk with Zach Baris, lifelong Cleveland sports fan, former NBA scout. Zach, how you doing today?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm living the dream, man. Different setup, different rig. We're going to try this a little differently. We're probably going to have 30 different ways we do this show moving forward. But hey, what do you think about my idea that the team with the worst record should have the draft at their facilities?
I like it, but I don't like it at the same time. Canton's probably going to have it the next 3 to 4 years anyway.
Wait, say that again? Why
Canton's going to be hosting the draft in the next 3 to 4 years once Hall of Fame Village is built.
Oh, see, I don't even know that. Why? That's already determined, or it's likely?
They're putting a new 4-star hotel in Canton at the Hall of Fame at Curio, which is another one going downtown Cleveland, right? Just catty corner to my place. So they're doing that, and they're pumping in tons of money. They're putting in new restaurants and shops, a whole new village down in Canton next to the Hall of Fame. So expect it to be whenever that's on 2019, 2020. You'll see the draft there probably in the next 3 to 4 years.
Well, Zach, let's jump into the draft right now. Obviously, it's very important for the Cleveland Browns to get the franchise spun around. It's been a long slog since Art Modell took the team to Baltimore in the dead of night in his weaselly move back in, 1995?
End of 95, 96.
At this point, I mean, the Browns have been absolutely terrible for this time. It really hinges on the draft. You got to knock a few of these things out of the park. You got to rebuild your roster with the right people, and then re-sign them because they think you're moving in the right direction. Talk about the number one pick overall tomorrow for the Cleveland Browns. Are you sold on Myles Garrett? Everybody seems to be.
I am. I think here's the problem right now. You've got the whole national media. Everybody overblows the term analytics. It gets completely overblown all the time. Oh, analytics will tell you to do this. Analytics will tell you to do that. They have scouts in their front office. They have intelligent people working in their front office. Yes, analytics bring something into the game. They always do. But nothing is like good old-fashioned scouting on the other end, too. It takes both, and both factor into the decision. Myles Garrett is clear and cut the best player in this draft. It's not close. There's no Andrew Luck in this draft. There's no potential superstar quarterback that's sitting there that needs to be taken at one where there's even a debate. There just isn't. There's no debate on who should be the number one on pick. I'll never forget a couple of years ago I said, can one player really make that impact on can be that impactful on a defense? Well, this is when the Browns were sitting there at 7-4 against the Houston Texans a couple of years ago, or we were 6-3 at the time. And we're facing the Houston Texans. I was at the Browns game with my dad. And J.J. Watt was so disruptive. He blocked a punt. He had 2.5 sacks.
Yeah,
he had
I remember that.
Fumble, and and he even caught a touchdown pass.
Yeah, it was brutal.
And I remember my dad and I were just sitting there going, "Wow, is J.J. Watt that good?" It was like I never realized one player on the defensive side of the ball could make that much of an impact and be that good. And as soon as I saw that, if you have a chance to draft a guy who's going to put up those kind of numbers or be in the same boat as that guy, take him. Take him. Gives you an elite-level defense, and you still have the 12th pick. One of those quarterbacks is going to be on the board. My guess is the Browns are going to trade up to 4, 5, 6, and go and try to take Trubisky. Or if you're sitting there at 12 and somehow Jamal Adams falls or Malik Hooker falls to 12, you've got your center fielder on defense. I love Malik Hooker. He's a ball hawk. He reminds me a lot of Ed Reed. I would love if the Browns got him and Myles Garrett in the first round. I think quarterback is a necessary position to take, but I don't think it's worth over, the problem is, and this is the thing with analytics, at least in basketball and at least in baseball, tell you not to overreach for a player. I would assume they do the same in football. So why would the Browns go out and, go and reach for a quarterback that doesn't have a high ceiling? That's my question about it. Now, I'm not saying Trubisky doesn't have a high ceiling. I'm just saying, though, why are you going to go and give up, where there's other home run picks on the defensive side of the football for a quarterback that doesn't have the highest ceiling in the world, just to go out and get a quarterback? Analytics would tell you otherwise. at least judging by my days in baseball, working at Gaylord Sports Management as an intern there, as their baseball division intern, and working in basketball. That's the difference. So, if it were me, I'd love to take Garrett number 1. I think, from what I'm hearing, it's the pick. And then at 12, again, I think they're going to trade it for Trubisky, which I'm fine with. However, I also wouldn't mind seeing them just stay at 12 and taking O.J. Howard, the tight end from Alabama, or Malik Hooker, or someone like that.
I mean, would O.J. Howard fit on the team with our current tight end situation?
Yeah. The Browns need a tight end. They need a very athletic tight end. I mean, you're talking a guy who could, could have been, what Kellen Winslow could have been before the ACL tear and the motorcycle accident. You're talking about a top-notch tight end with unbelievable athleticism who can block.
Okay. Well, I think whatever quarterback you put behind center for the Browns, you got to give him some weapons. I don't know if the two-headed beast that are running backs.
They fixed the O-line this year. The running back situation is not bad. They did lose Terrell Pryor. However, they replaced him with Kenny Britt. They still need a tight end. I like Barnage, but they still need another tight end, and they need another big-time wide receiver. Whether it's Corey Davis at 12, Mike Williams, O.J. Howard, be okay with any of those guys. I really would. Or you can go out and get a wide receiver in the second round of the draft.
What if McCaffrey's there?
I don't take Christian McCaffrey at 8. I'd rather have Leonard Fournette than Christian McCaffrey.
Okay, but if Fournette goes to the Jaguars and we're sitting with McCaffrey and we're looking at him more as a slot receiver, and he's not a slot. I mean, he could be unbelievable in the slot, but you're not sitting there taking the guy at 12. I love McCaffrey. I think he's going higher than 12, to tell you the truth. But I see him as an actual running back. I don't see him as a slot receiver. He's that good of a running back. Okay. And again, too, you get great value in the late first round if you trade back up. Or, Dalvin Cook might fall to the second round now. If you get a guy like him, and I know most people hate him because he's a piece of scum, Joe Mixon could be there sitting at 52. Yeah. That was not a good look for him. Not a good look.
No, not at all. I don't think punching a woman's ever a good look.
Yeah. And then this is an organization that can't really afford to screw it up,
So, you know what? So, it's just a matter of, I really have no clue what the Browns are going to do tomorrow. I really don't. Although I do think it's going to be Myles Garrett number 1, and I'm pretty sure they've been sold on him for quite a while from what I understand. That's just me. I think the Trubisky stuff is a smokescreen at number 1. I think they will try to trade up for him. I just don't think they're going to take him with number 1. It'd be idiotic.
Any other players you want to keep your eye on? Any other teams you're curious to see if the Browns might jump back in? I'm curious to see what the
Jets will do and the Titans. I think the Browns have a legitimate trade partner in the Titans who they worked with last year in a deal. They currently own the Titans' second-round pick at 52. You could see some movement there. So we'll see. I really don't know. It's going to definitely be interesting, to say the least. Absolutely. I'm very excited for the draft tomorrow night. I love the draft every year. And, come 11 o'clock at night, I'm pissed off at the draft every year.
Hey, but every year it could be the year that we get, the Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith kind of,
Let's put it this way. The Browns have such a low, the Browns literally can't do any worse than him. Justin Gilbert and Johnny Manziel are the only 2 rookies from the first round 3 years ago that are out of the league. The only 2 in the first round.
And we got both of them.
Both of them in the top 22.
Unreal. But that regime's gone now.
Part of it. Sashi Brown was still in that front office.
How much do you fault him for that?
I mean, he wasn't the one making the call. It was Ray Farmer, and I thought Ray Farmer was a schmuck, but he was horrible. It's like, this is what I've always asked. I've seen organizations make hires, and I'm just sitting there going, I don't understand this hire. And I've said it all along. It was like, with Rob Hennigan in Orlando for the Orlando Magic in basketball. I said, I just don't get any of his moves. I don't get his draft strategy. I just literally don't understand it. Like, someone please enlighten me. I don't get it. There are teams I don't understand the Sacramento Kings. I don't understand what the Arizona Diamondbacks did hiring Dave Henderson. In baseball, they hired all these guys. And some of these moves just don't make any sense to me. And I'm like sitting there going, what the hell is going on?
Hey,
I ask myself that all the time. I can say it in all sports. I go, it's like the Browns. Why Ray Farmer? Why the Browns are coming off of a 7-9 season? Oh, I pegged him as the perfect team. We took an offensive lineman so he could be a backup his rookie year. The Browns had multiple holes on that team. In one of the best wide receiver drafts of all time, you took an offensive lineman to be a backup. Brilliant move.
Hey, is Josh Gordon coming back?
I don't know. Ask him.
I saw Martavis Bryant got reinstated, so I was just kind of wondering.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, Josh Gordon and Justin Blackman are in a race for the finish line and see who comes back last.
Oh, okay, good point. All right, well then, look, let's revisit the draft. Well, let me. Final question. Let's say that the Browns don't trade up to 5 and get Trubisky. So say we take, somebody else at number 12 who's not a quarterback.
There's Reuben Foster could be sitting there. This is such a talented draft. You're going to get value all the way down to the 20s this year. There's not much of a difference between number 2 and number 15 at this point. There just isn't. There's so much talent.
That's a good place to be in, especially when you stockpile.
The Browns can get a guy like Reuben Foster, again, to help bolster your front seven. It's huge. I mean, or does a guy like Hooker fall? Jamal Adams fall? It depends. Let's just say Trubisky goes to number 6 of the Jets, and let's say the Bills take Deshaun Watson. That's 2 other position players that are going to be on the board because 2 other teams took quarterbacks.
Right.
Someone's falling to the Browns. There aren't going to be 5 quarterbacks going in the top 11 picks.
And there's not that much of a difference between those top 5 quarterbacks.
There might be. That's the thing. Some teams, obviously, every team evaluates every player differently.
Right.
I can say this from working with the football team my freshman year at the University of Arizona. We evaluated recruits differently than how other schools evaluated recruits. It just was what it was. Every team evaluates people differently, and they see players in different lights. It all depends how players fit to a scheme as well. I mean, we've witnessed players that don't fit into a scheme somewhere, and then they go somewhere else, and they're unbelievable. I also don't think it's. I don't think it's too much of a coincidence. I think if some of those players the Browns would have drafted would have went to other organizations where there were better coaching, where there was just better. What's the word for it?
Culture.
Basically, no. Basically, talent development for younger players. It's like you go to Sacramento in the NBA and you look at it and you go, why do none of these young players ever develop into anything?
Well, and then you can look at the Cleveland Indians and Mickey Callaway and look at the pitching staff and go, oh, they're developing their pitchers. They're making them good.
You look what a manager like Francona and Mickey Callaway can do for a team, and having a top-notch coaching staff and having a great farm system, with great development tools, and, it helps. It helps develop your players. You look at teams that have top-notch prospects all the time in baseball that don't pan out. I can sit there and go look at baseball teams that haven't been good in 20 years. Why is that?
Yeah, like the Cleveland Browns haven't been good in the NFL for 20 years.
It's very, very rare for a football team like the Browns to be bad as long as they've been. It's almost impossible to be this bad.
What did Mike? Remember when Mike Polk Jr. said it is statistically more unlikely that you can be this consistently bad than it would be for you to accidentally occasionally be good. The probability is staggering.
The Browns are a complete mess. I hope they're righting the ship, though. They don't have a lot of talent. However, they have a ton of draft capital over the next 2 seasons, including tomorrow night and next season. So, you know what? I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to let them go in there and make their picks. If I hate it, which I probably will because I always seem to hate what the Browns do, then fine. Okay,
then let's end it here, and we'll come right back on the other side. We'll split this in post-production. This is The Unhappy Hour. Follow Zach on Twitter. He's at ZBaris. That's ZBARIS. My name's Brian Engelman, and this is the TNAM Radio Network.